Chosen one, what I'm about to reveal may shock you. If you're hearing this, it's not by accident. God has led you here for a reason. For too long you've worked, prayed, and waited, yet nothing seems to change. You've questioned, why is my breakthrough delayed? Why do others receive while I remain stuck? But what if I told you this delay was never a punishment? What if everything you've been through was a test, a preparation for something far greater than you can imagine? Right now, something is shifting in the spiritual realm. The floodgates of financial abundance are opening, but only for those who recognize the signs. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll reveal the 3 divine steps that will unlock the financial breakthrough you've been praying for. Are you ready? You are not here by accident. If you're hearing this message, it means something powerful is already shifting in the spiritual realm. For too long you've worked, prayed, and waited, yet nothing seemed to change. You've questioned, why is my breakthrough delayed? Why do others receive while I remain stuck? But what if I told you that this delay was never a punishment? What if every hardship, every setback, and every moment of waiting was actually a divine test, a preparation for something far greater than you can imagine? You see, throughout history, every chosen one has been tested before their breakthrough. Joseph was betrayed and imprisoned before he ruled a nation. Job lost everything before he received double. David was an outcast before he became king. Right now, at this very moment, you are standing at the edge of your own test. But most people don't recognize it. They give up too soon, just before their blessing arrives. This is where many fail, because the final test before abundance looks like the greatest struggle. The moment when you feel forgotten, when doors seem closed, when you are tempted to doubt. But what if I told you that these challenges were never meant to break you, but to shape you? That everything you have gone through was designed to prepare you for what's coming next? There's a reason you are hearing this now. A reason this message has reached you at this exact moment. Because right now, at this very moment, a divine door is opening. But only for those who recognize the test. Only for those who align with divine wisdom and take the next step. Before we go any further, if you believe that financial breakthrough is already in motion for you, declare it in the comments by writing "I receive it." Because what I am about to share next will reveal what has been blocking your blessings and how to remove it forever. This is not just another message. This is your confirmation. Are you ready to receive it? Then stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will change everything. But this is where most people hesitate. This is where fear creeps in. You've prayed for abundance, but deep down, do you truly believe you are worthy of receiving it? Or has life conditioned you to expect disappointment? How many times have you told yourself, maybe this isn't for me? Maybe I'm meant to struggle. Or maybe I'm just unlucky. That voice of doubt isn't coming from God. It's the test. It's the final barrier between where you are and where you're meant to be. Look back at your journey. Every hardship, every setback, every delay. Was it really failure, or was it preparation? Joseph sat in a prison cell, forgotten. Job lost everything, mocked by those around him. David faced giants long before he wore the crown. But what separated them from the rest? They refused to let doubt win. They refused to believe the lie that they weren't chosen. Right now, you are standing at the edge of your own breakthrough. But only one thing can hold you back: your belief that it's impossible. God has already placed the blessing before you, but He will not force you to take it. He is watching to see if you will step forward in faith, or if you will turn away in fear. Before we move forward, take a moment. If you are ready to silence doubt, if you are ready to step boldly into your breakthrough, type "I am ready" in the comments, because those who declare it, those who truly believe, will be the ones who receive. But for those who still hesitate, who still question if they deserve abundance, I need you to hear this next part. Because in just a moment, I will reveal the 3 divine steps that will unlock everything. But God never leaves His chosen ones without guidance. At every turning point, when doubt feels strongest and the path ahead seems unclear, He sends a revelation, a mentor, a message, a divine sign, to remind you of the power that is already within you. Look through history. Moses was lost until he encountered the burning bush. Elijah was ready to give up until he heard God's whisper. Paul was blinded before he could truly see. Right now, at this very moment, you are standing in your own wilderness, questioning if you should turn back. But this message, this moment, is your sign. God is speaking. He is revealing what you could not see before. Your breakthrough has never been about luck. It has never been about whether you were meant to struggle. It has always been about aligning yourself with divine principles, the same principles that unlocked abundance for those before you. But here's the truth. Most people will ignore this revelation. They will hear it, but they won't act on it. They will stay trapped in the same cycle of doubt, fear, and limitation, even when the path has already been shown to them. And that is why so few step into true abundance. You see, breakthrough isn't given, it's unlocked, and the key has been placed right in front of you. Right now, you stand at a crossroads. You can ignore this moment, brush it aside, and continue life as usual. Or you can recognize this for what it is, a divine opportunity. Because the truth is, nothing in your life will change until you are willing to see things differently. Moses had to turn aside and look at the burning bush before he heard God's voice. Elijah had to step out of the cave before he recognized God's whisper. Paul had to lose his sight before he truly gained vision. And now it's your turn. But to receive, you must be willing to step beyond what you've been told about wealth, success, and divine favor. This is not about wishing. This is not about waiting. This is about applying the ancient principles that have unlocked abundance for generations. And what I'm about to share next will shatter everything you once believed about financial breakthrough. Before we go any further, if you are ready to receive divine wisdom, type, "I am ready for my breakthrough," in the comments, because the next 3 steps I'm about to reveal will change everything. Every chosen one reaches this moment, the moment where hesitation must end. You've heard the call. You've received the revelation. But now the choice is yours. You stand before the threshold, the dividing line between who you were and who you are destined to become, between scarcity and overflow, between uncertainty and divine confidence. But make no mistake, this is the moment that separates those who step into their breakthrough from those who turn back. Think of the greats who came before you. Moses had to step into the Red Sea before it parted. Peter had to step out of the boat before he could walk on water. The walls of Jericho didn't fall until the final step of faith had been taken. And now it is your turn to step forward. But here's the truth. Most people hesitate here. They let fear convince them that the waters won't part, that they will sink, that the walls won't move. That hesitation is the last test. Because once you step through, once you decide that this breakthrough is already yours, the entire spiritual realm moves to make it so. Right now, you are standing at the edge of your own Red Sea. The waves look high, the winds feel strong. But what you don't realize is that the moment you step forward, everything shifts in your favor. So I ask you now, are you ready? Because the next 3 divine steps will not only reveal how breakthrough works, but they will show you exactly what has been blocking your abundance. If you are ready to move forward, type, "I am stepping into my breakthrough," in the comments below. Because the threshold is before you. And only one step separates you from everything you have been waiting for. Stepping into your breakthrough does not mean the path ahead will be easy. Every chosen one faces trials before receiving their blessing. These tests are not meant to break you, but to prepare you, to make sure you are truly ready for the abundance that is waiting on the other side. Moses had to lead his people through the wilderness before they reached the promised land. Joseph endured years of betrayal and hardship before he ruled over Egypt. Even Jesus was tested in the wilderness before stepping fully into his purpose. And now your test has begun. Right now, you are stepping into what I call the 3 divine tests. These are the challenges that will determine if you are truly prepared for the abundance that is coming. These tests are not placed in your life to stop you. They are here to reveal the version of you that can no longer continue into your future. The first test, the test of patience. The greatest blessings do not come instantly. They require endurance, faith, and the ability to trust in God's timing. Many people fail here because they grow tired of waiting. They let doubt creep in. They return to their old ways, just like the Israelites who longed for Egypt instead of trusting God's promise. But here is the truth. God is not delaying your blessing. He is making sure you are strong enough to hold it. Because what is the point of receiving a blessing if you are not prepared to sustain it? The second test, the test of faith. This is where most people fall. They say they believe, but when faced with uncertainty, they crumble. They let fear convince them that breakthrough isn't real, that abundance is for someone else, that their dreams are impossible. This is the moment when Peter took his eyes off Jesus and began to sink. when Abraham doubted and tried to take matters into his own hands, when Gideon questioned whether he was really chosen. But the chosen ones who pass this test understand one thing. Faith is not about seeing, it is about believing. God does not show you the entire path at once. He asks you to trust Him with the first step, and then He reveals the next. So ask yourself, do you truly trust that your breakthrough is already in motion? Or are you letting fear pull you back? And the final test, the test of obedience. Many people ask for abundance, but they are not willing to listen to divine instruction. They want the reward, but they resist the discipline, the wisdom and the guidance that leads to it. Noah had to build the ark before the flood came. Joshua had to march around Jericho before the walls fell. Elisha had to burn his old life behind him before stepping into his calling. Obedience is not about convenience, it is about trust. Right now, God is testing you. He is seeing if you will trust His process, if you will stand firm in your faith, and if you will remain obedient even when the path is unclear. And those who pass these tests, they are the ones who step into limitless abundance. Before we go further, if you are ready to pass these tests, type, "I am ready for my breakthrough," in the comments below, because what I am about to share next will unlock everything. Every chosen one reaches a moment where they must face the greatest test. This is not just another challenge. This is the defining moment. The moment where everything you've been through, the waiting, the doubt, the struggles, now comes to a head. It is the moment where you either rise or retreat. Joseph had his moment when he stood before Pharaoh, after years of betrayal and imprisonment. David had his moment when he faced Goliath, armed with nothing but a slingshot and faith. Even Jesus had his moment in Gethsemane, where the weight of his mission became almost unbearable. And now this is your moment. Right now, you are being tested in ways you never imagined. Financial struggles, setbacks, silent battles that no one sees. The enemy is whispering, telling you that breakthrough is impossible, that you should give up, that the promise is a lie. This is the moment that most people fail. They quit too soon. They turn back just before the victory. But what they don't realize is that the pressure is proof that the breakthrough is close. Think of a seed buried in the soil. It must break open before it can grow. Think of gold being refined. It must go through fire before it shines. You are in your refining moment. Everything that is happening is not here to destroy you. It is here to remove what is no longer needed. The doubts, the fears, the old mindset that cannot enter the place where you are going. And the greatest secret of all? Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they refuse to endure the process. Right now, God is watching. The spiritual realm is watching. The forces of heaven are waiting to see. Will you press forward, or will you turn back? Because here is the truth. If you do not quit, you will win. The enemy has no power over you except the power of deception, the power to make you believe that the struggle means the promise is not real. But those who endure, they inherit everything. If you believe that this moment is your refining fire, if you believe that breakthrough is on the other side of this storm, then declare it now. Type, "I will endure, I will receive my breakthrough." Because the fire does not burn the chosen, it refines them. And for those who pass through it, they step into a life beyond anything they ever imagined. You have endured, you have passed through the fire, and now the breakthrough is here. Most people never reach this moment. They give up too soon, never realizing how close they were to their blessing. But you refuse to quit. And because of that, you are now stepping into a season of divine abundance. Everything that once felt delayed is now being set in motion. The doors that once seemed locked are opening before you, not by chance, but by divine alignment. This is your confirmation. Everything you have been waiting for is already in motion. Think about the greats who endured before you. Joseph's betrayal led to the palace. David's battles led to the throne. Job's suffering led to double restoration. And now your journey has led you here. But here's the truth that most people don't understand about breakthrough. It is not something you receive. It is something you step into. It is a shift, a new way of seeing the world, a new level of wisdom, confidence, and divine favor that allows you to access the abundance that was always meant for you. But here is the final test. Can you truly let go of who you were before? Because abundance is not only about receiving, it is about releasing. You must release the old fears that kept you from taking action. You must release the doubts that made you question whether this blessing was really for you. You must release the mindset of waiting, hesitating, and playing small. Because breakthrough requires transformation. This is why so many people reach this point, but never fully step into their blessing. They still hold on to the habits, the thoughts, and the beliefs that kept them stuck. But you are different. You have faced your trials. You have endured the tests. You have walked through the fire. And now you walk as someone who is changed. This is your moment to claim your reward, not just in wealth, but in wisdom, not just in opportunity, but in purpose, not just in blessing, but in who you have become. Because the real reward? It's not just the abundance that is now flowing into your life. It is the unshakable confidence, the divine clarity, and the absolute certainty that you are walking in your calling. And that is something no one can take away from you. So declare it now. If you are ready to step fully into your season of breakthrough, type, "I receive my divine reward," in the comments below. Because this is your moment. You have stepped through the fire, and now you walk in abundance. Breakthrough is not just about what you receive. It's about what you do with it. You have stepped through the fire. You have endured the tests. You have been transformed. But now comes the real challenge. Because abundance is not the final destination. It is the beginning of a greater calling. Moses didn't receive revelation just for himself. He had to lead his people. Joseph didn't become ruler of Egypt for his own wealth. He was positioned to save nations. Solomon wasn't given wisdom just to live in comfort. He was tasked with building something greater than himself. And now you have been entrusted with something powerful. Because true wealth, true success, true abundance, it is not just about accumulation. It is about multiplication. You are now being called to take what you have received and put it into action. But here's where many people fail. They experience breakthrough, but they fall back into old patterns. They receive the blessing, but they do not steward it well. They walk in favor, but they do not use it for impact. And that is why most people never sustain the blessings they receive. But you are not meant to be like most people. You have come too far to return to who you used to be. This is where faith in action begins. Faith is not just believing. It is moving. It is building. It is acting on what you have received. Faith without action is like a lamp with no oil, a well with no water, a door that remains locked even though you hold the key. You have the key now. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you step forward and use your breakthrough to bless others? Will you build something that lasts beyond you? Will you allow what you have received to multiply, touching lives in ways you never imagined? Because this is how divine abundance works. It does not flow to those who only seek to receive. It flows through those who are willing to give. If you are ready to put faith into action, if you are ready to walk boldly in your calling, declare it now in the comments below. I will walk in my breakthrough. Because this is only the beginning. The world is waiting for what you have been called to do. You thought the battle was over. You thought that stepping into abundance meant the challenges would end. But the truth is, every chosen one faces one last test. The moment where doubt tries to return. The moment where old fears whisper, telling you that you are not truly transformed. The moment where the enemy tries to convince you that your breakthrough was temporary. This is the final trial. Because resurrection is not just about rising. It is about proving that the old version of you is truly dead. Think of a snake shedding its skin. The old skin is gone, but for a brief moment, it still clings to the body. Think of a butterfly emerging from the cocoon. The old form has been transformed, but for a moment, it hesitates before spreading its wings. And now you are in that moment. You have left the past behind, but now you must prove that it no longer has power over you. The Israelites left Egypt, but many still carried the mindset of slavery. They doubted, they complained, they feared, and because of it, many never entered the promised land. They were physically free but mentally bound. But you were not chosen to stay in the past. You have been transformed. You have stepped through the fire, endured the trials, and stepped into divine favor. Now the only thing left to do? Prove that you will never return to who you were before. This is the moment where you walk with unshakable faith. This is the moment where you silence every doubt with action. This is the moment where you declare, once and for all, that you will never be the same again. The greatest enemy is not what lies ahead. It is the voice inside that tries to tell you that you are still the same. But hear this truth: you are not the same. You have crossed the threshold. You have been refined in the fire. You have stepped into divine abundance. Now you must rise, not just in spirit but in action. If you are ready to seal this transformation, type "I am risen" in the comments below. Because the final test is not about what you receive. It is about what you become. And you have become unstoppable. You have walked the path. You have faced the fire, endured the trials, and stepped into your transformation. But now a greater question remains. What will you do with this new life? Because breakthrough is not just about reaching a destination. It is about becoming someone new, someone who carries wisdom, someone who walks with purpose, someone who leads others to transformation. The old version of you would have stopped here. The old version of you would have celebrated the victory and gone back to life as it was before. But you have changed. This is no longer about what you receive. This is about what you create. Now you have a responsibility, just like Moses, who led his people after his encounter with God, just like Paul, who carried his transformation into the world, just like Christ, who rose not just for himself, but for all who would follow. Now you must lead, because you are not just someone who has experienced transformation. You are someone who carries the light of transformation for others. People around you will see it. They will sense it in your confidence. They will feel it in your words. They will notice it in how you move, how you think, how you act. This is your new life. A life of purpose, a life of divine favor, a life where you step forward without hesitation. And now the journey continues. Because this was only the beginning. Your next step is to go even deeper, to uncover even greater truths, to walk even stronger in your divine calling, because this journey never truly ends. Watch the next video now and step further into your purpose. And if this message spoke to you, type "I am ready" in the comments below. Let the world know that you are not turning back, because this is the life you were meant to live.